Hello, and welcome to the Trauma Informed Caregiving series on connection brought to you by Resilient Winona County. I'm Sarah Johnson. This is video number 1, the why of social connection. Imagine, use your imagination, that there's a new miracle drug. And that new miracle drug can increase your survival, our survival, by as much as 50%. Reduce our risk for heart disease by 29%, reduce stroke by 32%, reduce our risk of depression, reduce the likelihood of developing dementia, even increase our general immune response. But that's not all. It can increase our general well-being, build our resilience, help us regulate our emotions, and help us help others to regulate their emotions, otherwise known as co-regulation. Can you imagine such a miracle drug? Well, you don't have to, because we can get all of those things through social connection. So let me pan the camera back for a second before we talk more about social connection and connection in general, which is what this series is about. I want to talk about what trauma-informed care is, because this series is called Trauma-Informed Caregiving Connection. So when we're talking about trauma-informed care, we are talking about applying knowledge. What is that knowledge? Well, the knowledge is that trauma is something that is very common. A lot of humans experience that. And bringing that knowledge to our interactions with others. So when we have the knowledge that that's a common thing and that trauma can impact us in lots of different ways and can show up in different ways, including how we show up in relationships, in our behaviors, how we respond to things, knowing that, we can then bring empathy, which helps us in our interactions with others to pause, and instead of judging and being like, what's going on with that person, to go, whoa, I'm getting judgmental, which might be a cue to get curious and kind. So what might be going on with this person, and how can I support them? How can I help them co-regulate? How can I connect with them so that we can move forward? So in essence, trauma-informed care is about building resilience in both ourselves and others. And what is resilience? Well, that's our ability to adapt, to cope, and to thrive despite tough, challenging experiences. There's lots of kinds of resilience, including personal, so our own individual resilience, as well as community and collective resilience. The more resilient each of us are, the more resilient our communities will be. And that includes our communities in our own homes, in our neighborhoods, in the organizations that we work in or that we volunteer or serve in, or the community at large. Important to know, being trauma-informed and providing trauma-informed care benefits all of us, even if it's a person who has not been through a traumatic experience. Bringing that lens of empathy, curiosity, and kindness, well, that is good for everybody. And the more we build resilience in ourselves and each other, the more likely we are to build a resilient community. So, what do you need to know about trauma-informed caregiving? Trauma is common, and humans are very resilient. And that's where connection starts coming in. So I want to talk a little bit about, sometimes when people talk about trauma, they get stuck just in that. And it's really important that we can't actually talk about trauma without also talking about resilience and something that's called positive childhood experiences. There's also a concept called HOPE, health outcomes through positive experiences. So essentially, things that happen, particularly in our childhood, which is a really important time of development. Our brain starts developing, and those experiences that we have, both the negative as well as the positive, help build the architecture of how we experience the world. So the more positive experiences that we have in our childhood, the stronger we nurture our resilience and increase what are known as protective factors. In other words, the things that protect us from the tough stuff. So positive childhood experiences essentially boil down to support, belonging, and safety. All of those sound like things that support connection to me. So the way we support ourselves and each other, a sense of belonging, a sense of both physical and emotional safety, all of those can be built through connection. And excitingly, resilience is grown through connection. So all of these things deeply, deeply connect. Interesting. Connection is that's our whole theme. So important to know, social connection in particular, our social health, having strong social health, builds resilient kids who grow into healthy, connected, and resilient adults. And a bonus, for adults, our social connections protect us in all of those different ways that miracle drug. Our physical, our mental, our spiritual, our social health, all of those things are stronger when we are socially connected to others. So, key takeaways from this video. Trauma-informed care benefits all of us. Resilience is built through connection to self, community, and coping skills, and we're going to talk more about that in an upcoming video. And positive social connection builds resilient kids who grow into healthy, connected, resilient adults. Final takeaway, ask for help when you need it. And speaking of that, your tool or resource for this video, a reminder of the 24-hour resources. From any phone in the United States, you can call any time of the day or night to 988, just dial or text 988. A bonus text line is the Hope line. Just text HOPE to 741-741. And if you're in the Winona County, Minnesota area, you can utilize this local resource. And if you are not, this is your tool. An organizational and community resource guide can help you figure out what a local resource might be for you, both within your organization or your community, as well as outside in the community. So for example, if you are a youth serving leader working in an after-school program or a summer day camp, for example, who are the people within your camp or your after-school program or your organization who might be able to help you learn more about or support mental health, safety? There's other things on this tool as well, like clothing, shelter, food, those kinds of things. So who are those folks that you can go to if you or someone you know or one of the young people or families that you're serving need that resource? Who in your organization could help with that? And then the community resources, who in your community might you be able to refer or connect people to? Finally, after you watch this video and use the tools, we would love to get your feedback if this was helpful. This QR code will take you right to the survey. It should take you just a couple of minutes to give us some of your thoughts on this information. Finally, thank you for all you do to care for yourself and for our communities. We need each other. We need you. Thank you and have a great day. Hope you watch the rest of the videos. Just 2 more.